why Zira is worse than Scar. But when I say worse, I'm not saying that Zira was more evil than Scar. Rather, she made worse choices than Scar, given the opportunities presented to her. As Scar's former lover, Zira naturally has a vendetta against Simba for the death of Scar. This led to some anti-social tendencies which put her at odds with the lions of Pride Rock, resulting in the banishment of not only her, but also the pack of lions that were loyal to her. Despite being as resentful and deceptive as Scar, Zira has one advantage that Scar does not have, namely the benefit of hindsight. She would have seen that the reign of Scar was a lackluster one, eventuating in widespread famine and suffering. Also, with the resurgence of Simba, Zira would have to recognize that he was the rightful heir as king. With these two inescapable facts, it's a lot less justifiable that Zira would still be loyal to Scar. But beyond the benefit of hindsight, Zira also has the advantage of a pardon. At the end, Simba decided to extend mercy to Zira and her pack, and graciously allowed them to join Pride Rock. Now, you could say that Scar was also shown mercy by Simba, which he also rejected, but his mercy would result in his banishment, which, although undesirable, is still better than what he deserves. In contrast, Zira's pardon by Simba was much better by leaps and bounds, with a penalty-free return ticket to the Pride Lands handed to her on a silver platter. To come so close to a peaceful resolution, yet to reject it, was nothing short of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So Scar couldn't put aside his ambition, while Zira couldn't shake off her need for vengeance. The death of her son was undoubtedly stewing resentment in her mind. But then again, Simba was not directly responsible for his death. Zira's stubbornness in clinging onto her anger is also worse when you consider that she has a pack of lions who rely on her and whom she genuinely has affection for. By rejecting Simba's pardon, she was at risk of jeopardizing peace for her family and allies. At least Scar was a lone ranger who didn't give a hoot about the fate of the hyenas whom he saw as disposable pawns. But beyond her obsession with vengeance, I suppose there is also the issue of her pride. It says a lot that upon Simba's pardon, all the lions on Zira's side immediately defected to his side. All of her propaganda and brainwashing of her followers undone in a brief moment, and Zira would have to eat some humble pie and admit that her depiction of Simba was wrong. In a sense, she must have felt betrayed by her followers and cannot comprehend how they could want to live with the lions of Pride Rock after suffering banishment for so many years, and especially how her family could accept peace after the death of their brother Nuka. It's a vicious train of thought, which culminates in her binary decision of either victory or death. There was no other option for her. Mercy would be rejected even a second time with greater stakes. Even on death's door, when Kiara offered to save her life, she all but spat in her face and willingly chose to accept her demise, unlike Scar, whose death was less avoidable. And so because of all that, we can say that Zira was worse than Scar.